guys, welcome to Big Sister. Hope you guys are having a happy Friday. This time is going by so fast, guys. I can't believe that we are almost in July. July 2024. We are officially halfway through 2024. And for me, it seemed like it was just Christmas, it was just the New Year's. And now here we are. The months are flying, guys. So thank you for those of you who are subscribers to my channel, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe. When you hit that like button, the algorithm does what it does, get more views. So let me talk about the hard done by conversations. The hard done by conversations, guys. Watch out for people who always have the hard done by story. They always have a story of what happened to them, who did what, all these different things. And guys, let me explain something. We are living in a time where being a victim is just the thing to do. Being a victim is the new, I don't know. It's just this is just the natural thing to be, or the way to be these days. You're rewarded for being a victim. You're encouraged to be a victim. You're applauded for being a victim. And that can be addictive to some people. Very rarely are people being told to look in the mirror. It's always someone else's fault. I know, for just living in the United States alone, a person who has a mass murderer, a mass shooter, someone who has hurt their children or actually taken the lives of their children, they are given excuses. The whole narrative moves from the victim to them, their childhood, who abused them, their medication. Oh, they've been diagnosed with this, that, and the other. You know, but I'll do another video on that. I don't know how popular that's going to be, but I'm like, you know what? Those victims were probably diagnosed with some things too. Those victims probably didn't have the best childhood either. But you know what? They navigated through their lives and they were just trying to live their lives. So why do we focus more on that the perpetrators, that their snow cone melted too quickly in the summer, and this is why they're doing what they did? Come on, like, stop. So anyway, when we're living in that type of era, or the times that we're in where everybody is a victim, then people are going to be more, they're going to be more inclined to have a victim narrative. Because let me be clear, no one is going to deny and no one is dismissing the reality of anyone's trauma, tragedy, violations, things that have happened. It has happened. Okay? But what it cannot become is an excuse or the catapult for that person. Excuse me if you heard my stomach growling, guys. That now becomes a catapult for this person to continue to behave in a certain manner where they are now bleeding, and I'm saying this figuratively, because they've been hurt and they've been wounded in their lives. They can now bleed all over other people because they've been wounded. They'll go around wounding other people, hurting other people, tearing down other people, destroying other people. And then you're supposed to just understand that they had a terrible childhood, or this or that happened to them. So what we have to look out for is the hard done by stories. And when you meet people who always have this story about what happened to them, and they're always going on and on about it, my personal opinion is that you should avoid these kind of people. These are people that you probably can't avoid them because you probably end up working with them. They'll probably end up being your neighbor or something like that. But I will say, avoid having any sort of serious relationships or having any sort of, or allowing this person in your life, do not let these individuals in your door. Don't hire this person if you don't have to. Okay, that means you know this person and they're your friend and they may need a job. I would say don't hire this person. This is someone that you would avoid marrying. This is someone that you would not allow around your family and your friends. Okay? Because when you really pay attention to them, a lot of times they just want to go on and on and on and on about what's happened to them, but they are not trying to move ahead in their lives. Now, there are individuals where you probably, what I'm saying may not apply in all scenarios. And what you may have to do is just proceed with caution. That means before you begin to disclose too much about your life, before you allow them to get too intertwined in your life, that you watch them from distance and you listen to how they talk. You listen to how they process information. You pay attention to how they deal with things when they're frustrated, because everybody can put on a good face when they're happy and they're getting what they want. But what happens when they don't get what they want? What happens if they don't get their food on time? What happens if you disagree with them? What happens if people are not doing things in the timely manner that they expect it to be done? How do they behave? How do they behave when you disagree? How do they behave when you make a decision that may not necessarily be what they wanted? How do they behave when they're not getting something from you that they want? That is their true self. How do they behave when you've accomplished some things and you're getting praised for that and you're being recognized for it? How do they behave at events that's centered around you? How do they behave when you're around your family and your loved ones? And how are they behaving? This is really important. Because if they're around you and they keep that stony, magrony face and the grumpy, and they're sucking the energy out of your life and moment, and you have to keep going to check on them. Are you okay? Are you all right? You okay? You can't even enjoy your birthday party. You can't even enjoy your graduation dinner. You can't enjoy stuff. You've been newly engaged. You can't engage. You just told them you're engaged, and they go into their mopey story of what happened to them. And so instead of being happy, you end up talking to them or getting sucked into their sad story of something that happened. Be careful of the hard done by people. When you're talking to them and you listen to them, they're always going on and on about who did what happened to them, who didn't do this for them, who did that. And they just go on and on and on. They rain on your parade. Everything is about them. This is a sign that they are not healed. This is a sign that they are not fully, if at all, restored. This is someone who may need counseling. This is someone who may need to have some, they need to deal with those things that's within them. And it's not your job to do that. A lot of times people with the hard done by stories, they're going to go to people who have empathy. You're empathetic and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened to you. What can I do to help you? And then you find yourself being sucked dry by them. You find yourself that they feel that they're entitled. You're supposed to help them. You move them in your house and they become a living nightmare. You set them up with a job, they become a living nightmare. And when you're trying to get them to do what they need to do because they're supposed to pay the rent or they're supposed to do whatever with a car or on the job, they're going to be telling other people the hard done by story, except now it's starring you and you're the bad person. So this is why when you're an empathetic person, and if you like to help people, What you have to learn about are the resources in your area where you can direct people. Sometimes, yes, you can help them, but most times you need to direct them and show them where they can go to get that help that they need, the resources. If you're helping them do something that you could only do for that moment, but enough where they know that, hey, I have to keep moving, I have to keep going, I have to keep working hard so I can get the desired ends of what I need. Because what's going to happen is, hard done by people, oftentimes they have a lot of issues on the inside. They really do. And they can become jealous. They can become spiteful. They can become entitled. They can become malicious. There can be so many things that they can morph into on you. And you find yourself with your hands full. You can't get them out your house. You can't get them off your property. They're not paying for the car that you may have co-signed for. They're doing all these different things. They make your life a nightmare. They've turned your family against you. They've turned your friends against you. They've turned your employees against you. The peaceful circle that you had, your circle of friends, it's now shattered and depleted because you brought in Mr. or Miss Hard Done By. Hard done by people are professionals of victimhood, and they're going to know how to convince other people that they're the victims and you've done them wrong. So you will find your whole life being turned upside down by these individuals. So learn the resources. What do they need? Find out. You know that you have the tendency to want people to live in your house. You got to snap out of that. Your hand's been bit several times. You know you like to go in your wallet and fork out money and help and do da. No, there are organizations where they are funded to help individuals. Because as I said, when you're doing too much for a person, you are buying them things, you're getting them the job, you did all this, you did all that for them, they begin to resent you. They get upset with you because you have the power, right? Because you have the power and you have the means to help them. They're jealous of you for that. And then they start to watch your pockets, and then they start to watch what you're doing. And then when you say you can't do something, they get an attitude with you. Well, you just bought this. I just saw you get that. You just got a new car. You just bought a new outfit. They begin to watch what you're doing as if it's their business. Well, you have a 2-carat diamond ring. Well, your boyfriend, your fiance have money. You work at this job. You understand? So this becomes, you've let them in and they've been paying attention and they try to corner you. Hard done by people need to do the hard work that it takes to get healed. They have to do that. And what you do is you supplement in terms of, you can give them encouragement here or there. You can show them where to go to get resources. You may be able to help them. You give them $20, not $200. And you make sure when you give it to them, you're not giving it to them all the time. Because they're people, guys, they're hard done by, and they are comfortable staying just that way. I don't need to get a job because I can stay at their house. I don't need to do this. I don't need to go and put in applications. I don't need to change because she's going to get me groceries. He is going to get me groceries. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. There are people who literally live like that. And I believe once I've given gave this example of this guy who went and he was helping these people who were homeless. He saw this homeless couple on television. He reached out, found out where they were. He allowed them to stay at this apartment he had. He has a big house, and he had this little area. It was like a whole apartment, like a mother-in-law suite. And they were there. And every day they'll get up and go walk back down to where they used to hang out. They go encourage their friends and encourage the people who are down there. And then eventually the guy was saying, so what do you guys plan? What are you guys going to do for the future, for work? Well, they're like, oh, we don't want to lose our benefits and this and that. And if I start working, I'm going to lose my benefits. And they started complaining to him how he doesn't spend time with them. And they feel like he is coming at them. And how he seems to, all he's doing is questioning what they're trying to do, totally missing that this guy has opened up his home for them. They're looking at, well, you don't spend time with us. All you're doing, you just come over here to find out what we're doing. That's the hard done by mentality. And honestly, guys, individuals, it is in my opinion that people who have been on the streets for a long time, something shifts mentally in their head. You can put them in an apartment, you can put them in a home, but they're used to being on the streets. Something has shut off mentally. So they're just used to just sort of floating around, moving around, going from place to place. They kind of drift, and they have forgotten how to become, they forgot the structure of everyday living. So they actually need a lot more help. It's not just a matter of putting money in their hands and putting them in a place. They need that psychological reprogramming again to help them to get back, because they've been by themselves. They've had fears. Sometimes they don't even sleep on the bed in the house. They've been used to sleeping on the floor, under the bed. They still have these fears. So when you're hearing hard done by people, I don't care how beautiful or how handsome or how gorgeous they look, don't date this person. They can become a nightmare in your life. They're always talking about stuff that's going wrong with them. Yes, they're beautiful to look at, but don't date them. Don't marry that person. You want to see someone who has gone through some things, but you can see where they're actively moving forward, and they're hardly talking about these things that have happened to them. Every now and then, yes, there are things you can talk about, but they'll tell you how you should be able to say, so where are you at right now in terms of this? And that's something you ask, so how do you deal with this now? And just don't say anything and listen to what they say. But most of the times, guys, moving my car for a second. This person is just backing up like they're driving a semi. So individuals who are, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, individuals who are like, they're always talking about things that's happened to them. What you want to find out and what you want to pay attention to is if they can speak positive about where they're going and how they came out of that. And everybody has times that they do talk about things that have happened to them. But it shouldn't be just they're constantly on the down. They're just constantly like, oh, this and that, oh, that and that. And that may be their reality right now. But when you hear that, you know, this is not someone I can date. This is not someone I can marry. This is not someone right now, if they're hard done by and they're losing everything in their lives. This is not somebody that I can bring around and show them how good I'm doing in my life. You can't. You may be able to meet with them somewhere if that's what you want to do. But then they're hard done by. You got to pay for the food. And so you want to be led, guys. You want to be wise in your generosity, because you don't want to be selfish. You don't want to be a person that you don't care about people. But you have got to be careful, because we're living in times where people are very dangerous. You let the wrong person in your life, you marry that wrong person, you start dating that person that's hard done by, that's used to being a victim all the time. It's always someone else's fault. They don't have the ability to think clearly and to see things reasonably. They're going to be like, oh, you're doing the same thing like they did. then you're in this problem. You're like, no, that's not what I'm doing. They're like, yes, it is. You've got this whole problem now. So be careful. Be careful. And this can be any age group. And especially when you're young. I'll do another video on that one. Because when you're young, especially when you're in middle school, you guys are so innocent. You're going to be like, sure, I understand. But you got to be able to recognize that jealous friend, that vindictive friend. Because children today are so different. But that's another video for another time. So guys, I hope this has helped you. How do you remove yourself from a hard done by person? Slowly. Some you can do abruptly. Others you just slowly just wean them off of you. Some people you just get dry. Just don't keep doing it. Just don't. Because it's going to be a problem long term for you. They can ruin your life, your legacy, your name, everything. Or you go and allow them in your life and they destroy everything. And when they leave, they will have no accountability. They'll take no responsibility for anything they've done. And they'll go tell a hard done by story about you. You see what I'm saying? All right, guys, peace.